But they made a very strong statement as a market leader saying, hey, we're going to set a high bar for the rest of the market. And I can't remember timing wise if, OpenAI with, I think ChatGPT has already launched. And so, right, I mean, you saw when ChatGPT came out $20 a month, like the rest of the market just kind of followed. Oh, I guess $20 per month for these copilots is about right. And so that was a strong leadership move from there and to set that price. What I think is dangerous. So one thing I talk about a lot when you're thinking about monetizing capabilities is picking the right pricing metric. A pricing metric is the unit of value you charge a customer for. So if I'm buying a CRM, I'm usually paying per seat because there's a very strong value linkage between quota carrying rep and the amount of revenue the company is generating. And therefore, if the CRM is meant to help increase sales efficiency and deals closed and pipeline, et cetera, then that's a very natural pricing metric where the larger companies that have larger revenue will buy more seats. Where people can go off the rails when they introduce AI capabilities is say, okay, well, let's use that summary example I used before and say, hey, I'm going to add an option in the CRM. So a salesperson can say, hey, summarize all the history with this account. And that's going to use whatever, X amount of tokens on the back end. So now I'm also going to charge, besides per seat, I'm charging you $10 per seat, but now I'm also going to charge you per token. This is a no-no. I call this showing your customers your underpants. You don't want to show your customers your underpants. The underlying cost model is your problem, not your customer's problem. So what went from a very easy conversation to that CRO or VP of sales, hey, how many sales folks you got? I got 100. Great, it's $10 a seat. That's $1,000 a month per for your company. Went from that to how many salespeople do you have? How many tokens are you going to use per month? And now this CRO VP of sales is going to be like, I don't know. How many tokens do I need? Like, what does that even mean? And so even if you have, there are sales folks out there who are incredibly talented and could probably navigate the conversation, but even if they do, when that prospect hangs up, they're just gonna be like, I thought I understood it and I don't, and now I have a busy day and I'm just not I'm just not going to think about that anymore because that seems way too complex. Let alone all the operational complexities of rolling that out to your entire sales team of differing capabilities and talent levels. And what you basically done then is just pour sand in your go-to-market engine, where now you have to train all of your salespeople to be AI experts. And so, what is the antidote to that? One is, if you believe that capability is actually driving underlying value and you're putting it into a tier, can you rationally increase the price on your existing pricing metric? So if I was at $10 a seat, can this now be equivalent to a $12 per seat? This is actually the move that Google just did with Workspace. They decided they weren't going to compete head to head with OpenAI and Anthropic, trying to sell everyone Gemini subscriptions. So on the consumer side, they rolled it into Google One, but on the Workspace side, they said, hey, we're now rolling all the capabilities of Gemini into Workspace, and we're raising the price of the Workspace per user, which is an example of doing that. The other is by putting those more advanced capabilities into your higher tier offers. So if you've got a standard good, better, best offer, perhaps you start by putting the AI capabilities in your best, therefore creating an incentive for customers to upgrade or so increase your share of wallet with them by them adopting your most expensive plan. So that's another way to drive it. There are others, but I'll stop there and see where you want to go.
What's the most important thing you've learned from focusing on pricing?
So pricing is this really interesting blend of economics and statistics and psychology. And I think that's what makes it super interesting. I think that last bit, for the most part, gets left out of all of the Econ 101, 102 lectures that everyone's ever sat through, where they teach you about supply and demand curves. There's no semblance of psychology in there. But especially when it comes to something like SaaS pricing, the more what a demand curve will show you is price relationships to volume. But the more fundamental problem for the areas that I work in software, it's price's relationship to value. And value does not exist in the bits in the product that you're selling. Value, like beauty, is in the eye of the beholder. Value exists in the minds of the customer. And so I think that has been a continuous touchstone for me of like, okay, I don't really care about what product you're selling. Like if we're talking about pricing, like I care about what your customer is thinking that product can do for them, because that's really where value lies. And therefore that's where we need to focus our attention on pricing.
Thanks for watching. If you liked this insight, I've handpicked another video for you right here on the screen. For more actionable strategies that get you real results, hit subscribe.